Welcome back to K-Chat with me, your host, Kayla Morales. We chat all things from love to life, business, spirituality, health and wellness, and everything in between. This is a space of growth and meaningful connection, and I am so excited to chat with you all today. So let's get to chatting. Yeah, so it's another solo episode with me. And I had you all vote. And honestly, it was quite close. At first, no one was voting for the first trimester thing. So I was like, y'all really don't care about how I'm feeling or how I was feeling. But then in the end, first trimester won. So today I'm going to be talking about first trimester things that I have experienced in my pregnancy that no one warned me about, and also just things I was experiencing, finding out that I was pregnant, etc. So we'll be talking about all of that stuff today. And for those of you who voted for relationships or overcoming fears part 2, those things are coming. Those topics are on my list to chat about in solo episodes. I also definitely want to do like a relationship panel because it's been a major theme in my life. A lot of people have been coming to me with some relationship shit. So I definitely have some opinions on that. And that's a conversation I'm really excited to have. And I'll do 2 parts to that one. But anyway, today let's get into my first trimester things. So if you didn't listen to last episode, I announced that I'm pregnant. So yeah, I'm pregnant. I'm no longer in my first trimester. Thank the Lord. But honestly, for me, a lot of things that happen in my first trimester are still occurring in my second trimester. So yeah. Luckily, there hasn't been any crazy new symptoms. But anyways, all right, we're going to get into it. So basically, let's go back to when I found out I was pregnant. So my partner and I, Kempton, we never really planned to have children. It's funny because I was talking to a mom about this yesterday, and she was like, oh, so how many kids do you guys want? And I was like, well, we just never really talked about having kids, really. If anything, we always talked about not having kids. And so, yeah, we're super stoked to have this child now, but it's not something we planned. And if you think about it, we've been together since high school. And obviously, we should grow up and should have had this conversation. But in high school, you're really not thinking about having kids. We weren't, at least. And so time just flew on by, and we still didn't really talk about having kids. We really talked about maybe having kids later, 30, but even that was I don't know, just something we would say in passing. We never had a deep convo about it. So we did the hanky panky. You guys know how kids come about, and I don't track my period. It's just I like to live my life very much in the flow. I have a regular cycle, and I know it's coming every month around the same time, but I don't track it because I'm just low-key lazy, but also like to just live my life carefree, okay? So my period didn't come, my menstrual cycle didn't come, but I wasn't stressing it because I was yeah, I think it didn't come, but I don't know, it could come, I don't know. But what really set it off was I was throwing up a lot, guys. It was brutal. It's still brutal. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm still throwing up most mornings, but I found ways to work around that, which I'll talk about. But yeah, so I was really sick. And actually, if you guys follow me on Instagram, when I did that food blog job, which what are the odds? That was in my first trimester, and that was, I don't even know if I had taken a pregnancy test yet. Maybe I did take a pregnancy test, but I was so sick. And just imagine being on set and you're the only talent. Usually when you're on set and there's multiple people that are the talent, you have some time alone. You have some downtime. But when you're the only talent and the rest is crew, it's like you're on and you got to be on. Like, you know, it's like it's the whole job is your job. Like, there's no one else that can help you carry this. There's no one else's energy on camera to like play off of. It's just you. So, yeah. That was the job I had while I was dealing with morning sickness. And then to add the icing on the cake, I was trying food and had to like pretend to like love it, which honestly, most of the food was pretty fire, but a lot of smells and stuff just kind of like, just don't vibe with you when you're pregnant and sick and nauseous, you know? So that was probably like the biggest challenge for me in the beginning, was just being sick. And I found out that this is something, I guess, okay, two things that I always knew about pregnancy is like, ooh, cravings, and like, ooh, yeah, you might deal with morning sickness. But no one really told me that you're kind of on a feeding schedule before the baby comes. Like, I always thought, okay, you get pregnant, you kind of go through a few symptoms, but it's not so bad. And then the baby comes and your whole schedule changes. No, it's like I got pregnant and my schedule had to change around what the baby wanted in my belly, which is so freaking insane. So like, for example, I would get really sick in the morning and I realized like the minute I felt hunger, I had to put something in my stomach. Otherwise, I would throw up. And some days I would still throw up anyway, but eating something really helps. So like, I'd literally wake up at like 3 a.m. and just be starving. And hunger, when you're pregnant, hits different. It's like, I don't know. It's like a gut punch. Like, it's just freaking brutal. Like, in any other time, I can sleep. And if I'm hungry, it's like, oh, I'm a little hungry, but I can wait a few hours and like wake up. When you're pregnant, it's like, no, you must wake up now and eat. Otherwise, you throw up everything and it's like just the acid in your stomach. So anyways, what I learned about that was you need to have some bedtime snacks. So I'm stocked up by my bed. Lately, in the beginning, it was bananas. And I would just have like bananas by my bed and like wake up, take a bite of a banana, and like try to eat like half, and then when I get hungry again around like 6, like wake up again, eat my banana. Literally, you're like on a feeding schedule. It's freaking sick. It's like every 2 to 3 hours you gotta eat a bite of something, otherwise you get sick. So that was my plan in the beginning. Now I'm into applesauces, like those little like squeezable pouches, because I can literally like lie asleep and just like suck applesauce. So that's been a lifesaver, pro tip. But so that was like my first major symptom, and I was like, all right, it's time to yeah, we got to take a test. So I took a test. I was pregnant. Honestly, those tests are so hard to read too. It's like, I should have got a digital one, but I got the little lines. That shit's hard to read. But yeah, I just left it on my bathroom counter for a while because I was like, nah, not me. I couldn't be pregnant, but I was. And so after a few days, Kempton just threw it out because he's like, all right, it's time to deal with this. But so then we had to like have the conversation about whether we wanted to keep it or not. And mind you, I mean, we've always talked about not keeping it, if anything, you know, but at the same time, we've always had these conversations as younger adults. Like, so now we're getting closer to 30 and it's like, do we have a kid? Like, what do we do? And so I made an appointment to have an abortion. Also, I'm pro-choice. With everything going on in Texas, just want to make that fucking clear. Yeah, I'm very pro-choice. But so I made my appointment to have an abortion. And I skipped that first appointment. Subconsciously, I probably just really didn't want to do it. And then my second appointment, me and Kempton went together. And the whole way I just cried. Like the whole entire way. I felt like I was giving away my puppy. Like I just felt so bad. And it wasn't even like I was thinking any specific thoughts. I was just just crying, like just hysterically crying. And so we got there and then we just talked about it and we were like, let's just like keep it. Let's just have a baby. We could do it. So yeah, we're keeping the baby at this point. So from then on, my first trimester, I decided to go hard with educating myself. And I started binge watching like labor videos. And out of everything that had heard about pregnancy, mind you, I guess if you're just not pregnant, you really don't talk about pregnancy things, you know? So I really had no idea about pregnancy other than like labor's hard, there's morning sickness, babies might keep you up all night, that kind of thing. So I watched a bunch of labor videos. I got so into it. Honestly, I'm still into it. I love labor videos. I used to think I would hate them, but it's just so cool. And I would just like cry during some of them. Like, it's such a freaking cool experience. So like, I feel totally prepared for labor. Like, I feel like I'm going like a champ and we're gonna like get the baby out. All right, so from watching videos and stuff, I also made my first appointment. And that's when shit got real, because before that, it's like, okay, I'm throwing up a lot, I have all these symptoms, but you really don't like feel the baby. It's not like you're super connected to the baby or anything. At least I wasn't. And so it just wasn't like a tangible thing to me yet until I went to the first appointment. And then like I heard the heartbeat and I saw like the little, first of all, I used to hate sonograms. Like, they look so fucking weird and I never understood what the fuck it was until like I was in person and someone was explaining it to me. But it's really cool when it's you. But so I saw the baby, heard the heartbeat, and I was like, oh shit, like this is for real, for real. Like, there actually really is. Like, I knew there probably was, but like there really is a baby in my stomach. And so that made it very real. And from there, the symptoms just kept kind of like flowing in. And so the one symptom that bothers me probably, I mean, morning sickness is rough, but my family's Puerto Rican. My dad's side's Haitian, but I grew up on my Puerto Rican side. And we call boobs tetas. And I never really considered my boobs tetas until now that I'm pregnant, because these bitches are different. These aren't the usual gals I'm used to, right? They're brand freaking new. First of all, I went from like a B to a D, which is fucking insane. And then, this is the craziest part, and I don't care if it's TMI, guys, tap out if you need to, but someone's got to tell y'all that your nipples change during pregnancy. I had no idea, but they're like salchichas. They're like big, just dark, and I mean, when you learn the science around it, I guess, and honestly, all nipples are beautiful, like no hate, but these just aren't my girls, you know, they're a little different now, so it took some getting used to. But what happens is, basically, I don't even know the proper word. I should probably Google this before I say it online, but let's see. Part around nipple. Name. I think it's like the areola or something. Oh, okay. Areola. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So the areola gets super dark. And so they get dark so that when the baby comes out, the baby can see that that's the nipple and that's like where it needs to feed. But before I knew that, I was just like, yo, what's going on with my boobs? Like, this is new. And so literally I've like changed the name. They've gone from tits to tetas. They're different. They're brand new. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is they hurt really freaking bad. And this is another thing no one really ever mentioned to me about pregnancy, is I thought like, okay, breastfeeding, that's going to be painful. You know, it's going to get a little dry and like chapped or whatever, sore, whatever. But I didn't know my nipples have never felt pain like this before. It feels like someone's twisting the shit out of it. It's not like a sexy twist. It's like a painful, like, I'm gonna like, I don't know. Like, it's like needles mixed with twisting. It just hurts so bad. And it's honestly on and off. It happens like some days it's really bad, some days it's not. But that was probably the worst. And before this, I was definitely more of a free the nip kind of girl. Anyone who knows me, I don't really like to wear bras, but again, things are different now, and the girls need some support. They need help. Because otherwise they just feel sore. They literally just hurt all the time. So that was a symptom I was not prepared for, but I'm sure baby will be happy when baby arrives that she or he can see where to eat. All right. So that was another thing that I've been dealing with, and I don't even care. Like sometimes I just got to hold on to them and be like, it's okay. Like just rub on them. I don't care if I'm in public. I don't care about anything while I'm pregnant. I don't care who I'm offending. I don't care if it's TMI. I don't care. My boobs hurt. I'm going to touch them. And so, yeah. And then I think the other thing that's kind of normal that I expected is just like the level of exhaustion you feel. And shout out to all the moms that I have worked around. I've worked with a few moms while as a nanny who were pregnant, and they just never even like, I feel like they never complained. They never even showed a hint of like, of exhaustion, or, I mean, maybe they'd take naps, but like, I just never knew how like rough the first trimester could be. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but shout out to all the moms, especially the ones who have toddlers, because bruh, I could not. But yeah, the level of exhaustion you feel is just like, you're just always tired. And if you're not tired, you're like achy. Your body's like aching. And I think the most difficult part is that in the first trimester, you're dealing with all these symptoms, and you're dealing with this like lack of energy and this sickness, but you're not showing. And so there's like, not that I expect sympathy from people, but there's like zero, like, there's no recognition that, oh, she's pregnant, so she's dealing with this, this, and this. It's like she looks completely normal. Like, what is going on with her, you know? And so I think that's probably the hardest part. And then another thing I didn't realize, now I'm in my second trimester, I'm 5 months. I'm still really not showing that much. Like maybe like some bloat. Some days I look pregnant, some days I don't. So I think that was another misconception. I guess that's getting into second trimester, but I think that was another misconception I had about pregnancy is I always thought like after like month 4, you like have like a belly and it's like very apparent that you're pregnant, but really it's like so far I'm halfway through basically, and I'm not really showing. So I didn't realize how late you start to like show. Yeah, so I think the biggest thing about pregnancy that I've recognized is one, you never feel 100%. Like, I don't even really remember what 100% feels like. Like, you always feel like either tired or achy, or you're throwing up, or you're just like sad and hormonal. In my first trimester, I really didn't deal with any cravings, which it's funny because that's like the number one question that everyone asks. Like, oh my gosh, are you craving anything? And it's like, no, I'm really not. If anything, I didn't want to eat. And that was even more of a struggle for me because it's like I had to force myself to eat things just so that I wouldn't throw up. And that to me was so frustrating, especially like getting out of bed and waking up just to like shove something in my mouth when I wasn't even like hungry myself, you know? It was like my body was just hungry. So that's probably the hardest part. It probably sounds like a lot of complaining. The good part, let's see, there has to be a good part. I think one of the most exciting things is like, this is for sure one of those things where I don't have to question my worthiness or my capability or my strength. I don't have to question anything because my body knows what to do. And like my nipples changing is the perfect example of that. Or even my hunger is the perfect example of that. It's like my body is like sending signals or changing physically to accommodate this baby, whether I consciously am aware of it or consciously know what the baby needs. And so I think that's pretty freaking cool. And so, yeah, I don't know. I feel, I mean, I might be just being unrealistic. I mean, there might be things later on that I start to feel a little more anxious about. But I feel pretty excited and capable and worthy of this. And yeah, I'm excited for the next changes. I'm really scared for any more negative symptoms, but so far we've gotten used to throwing up. It's like, oh, I have to mention, this is the number one thing. Okay, between the nipples and this is the number one thing. No one ever has mentioned this to me. I've never even heard it online or anything. But when you brush your teeth and you're pregnant, I don't know if this happens for everyone, you throw up for some reason. It's like, it's not the toothpaste. It's more like the act of something being in your mouth and moving. That sounds funny. But it's just every single time. So now I'm like over morning sickness. I really don't wake up and feel like, I still wake up and feel hungry, but now I got the snacks on lock. But I throw up literally every time I brush my teeth. So it feels like you never get the best clean, you know? That might be TMI too, but I don't care. At night, it doesn't really happen. It's only in the morning. But yeah, these are the first trimester things that no one really told me about. As far as feeling connected to baby, that definitely start to hit. I'll do another episode on second trimester. But the first time I really felt connected to the baby before I even felt it move or anything, I was watching like baby videos, and then I had this whole, not a premonition, that sounds kind of witchy, but just like a vision, maybe not even a vision. I don't know. I had this whole like, no, it was very like visionary, like just thought, or like, you know how when you think about something in your life, you could picture it kind of like a movie in your head? It was like that, but about the baby's life. And so that just made me cry on the spot, because I had never really thought about anyone's life in like a full capacity kind of way. I don't know, that sounds selfish, but I just never have thought of anyone's life in that way. And that was the first time I felt really connected to the baby. So that was cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously seeing it grow and like my appointments and sonograms, those are cool. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's next, continue my second trimester and see what comes the third trimester. I'm so excited to like, just for my belly to grow, because like right now it's in this weird in between. And like my clothes still fit, but are like starting not to. So it's interesting. Some days I look pregnant, some days I don't. I never know what I'm gonna get. But yeah, overall, I feel like even though the first trimester it was really like rough symptom wise for me, I think once I got a hold on it, I think it was just all like shocking. It was all like a surprise. I just didn't expect all the changes to happen. But once I kind of got a grasp on it, it's fine. It's fine. I can deal with it. But I definitely did like not really work during my first trimester. I kind of took it easy. And that's another thing with just pregnancy in general, is I'm like super selective and picky about where I spend my energy, which is good, because this is something I needed to work on for a long time. Because I just am the kind of person that's like, yes, I can do that. Yeah, sure, I'll take that job. Sure, I'll help you do this. And even just like conversations, like now it's like, if you're texting me something and I don't want to hear it, I'm not responding. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. If I don't feel like waking up before 11, I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. So those are kind of good things that pregnancy has taught me. It's just taught me to be selfish with my time in a positive way. And I definitely learned that first trimester, because I just didn't have the choice. I didn't have the energy or the health to get through dealing with anything else. That's pretty much it for the first trimester. We'll continue this little saga with the second trimester, third trimester, and then labor. I can't wait. But yeah, actually, that's another thing, is first trimester, I was going hard with education. Like, I want to learn about hypnobirthing. I want to learn this. I want to do natural. I want to blah, 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 like baby. Now I'm like kind of like taking a break. I'm like, okay, I'm tired of learning baby stuff for a second. But yeah, I mean, there's phases. So thank you guys for listening. I would love to hear if anyone's pregnant. Tell me your first trimester things. I think that's another fun thing, is like connecting with other women and seeing like what their symptoms are or what they're going through and what their cravings are. Right now, 3 really close people to me, like very close, like best friends, are pregnant too. So we're all kind of like going through it at the same time. And our experiences are all so different. So I don't want you to think that this is what it's always like. But this is what it was like for me. And yeah, I actually have heard the toothbrush thing from a few people though. So hey, that might happen. But let me know your experiences. If you're pregnant, leave a comment. Let me know. How's it going? What symptoms are you feeling with? What snacks are you snacking on? And yeah, thank you guys for listening to another solo episode. I do have some guests coming on this season, I swear. But scheduling is, one of those things that's a little hard. But you guys can definitely look out on the next few episodes. I don't want to give too much away, but I will ask for questions on Instagram when those episodes, right before they come out or get recorded, so we can use some of your questions and ideas in the episode, because I love doing that. And you guys come up with good questions, so it makes my job easier. Anyway, I hope everyone has a beautiful Wednesday. Thank you so much for listening. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, all the things. And I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.